Answers to petitions and written questions. Presentations of committee reports. Tabling of documents. Statements by ministers. The Honourable Minister of Social Development.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. It's a pleasure to rise in the House today and provide further information on our ongoing poverty reduction strategy. Mr. Speaker, a few weeks before that final forum on poverty in St. John, I had the opportunity to set out our government's criteria for truly lifting people out of poverty through a poverty reduction strategy. One of the most important elements had to be reforming the social assistance system to make sure that the system was generous and humane enough that recipients could spend their time thinking about the long-term things that lift people out of poverty: education, childcare, training, work, and not have to focus on day-to-day survival because our rates were among the most miserly in the country. When we brought together over 50 New Brunswickers in that final forum, including members from both political parties, there was one clear part of the social assistance system that had to change immediately. New Brunswickers everywhere believed that the interim rate, the $286 a month offered to single employable adults, was in this day and age an insult, that it was beneath our dignity to expect anybody, no matter what their circumstances or failings, to live on $286 a month. We made a commitment to eliminate it. Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to inform the House that as of January 1st, the interim rate of $286 is eliminated. No one will have to ever live on less than $537 a month in New Brunswick. Monsieur le Président, ce changement aujourd'hui, c'est suite à un consensus de société, que c'est absolument inacceptable dans une société chanceuse comme la nôtre, que quelqu'un doit vivre en moins que $300 par mois. C'est une augmentation de 82%. C'est la plus grande augmentation dans une génération précédente dans l'aide sociale. Et nous avons un engagement, Monsieur le Président, de continuer de hausser les taux d'aide sociale pour tous les Néo-Brunswickois. I wanted to make sure that we highlighted that this promise would be kept. After all, the Covenant Against Poverty, signed by New Brunswickers of all walks of life and all political beliefs, is really a commitment to those most vulnerable, those who too often have grown used to being left behind by the system. This and the announcement yesterday on the changes to the disability supplement are important, because I think all of us as politicians want the most vulnerable to know that we mean these commitments, and we will, as a legislature and as a government, we will deliver. This adds on to other changes: the continuation of health coverage for 3 years for those leaving social assistance for work, changes to the disability supplement, 900 new affordable housing spots, and changes we will soon be announcing on early childhood education and the economic unit policy. You know, Mr. Speaker, I should also congratulate my colleague, the Minister of Post-Secondary Education, Training and Labour, because it was his changes to the minimum wage that made this possible. I have heard some business groups say that we can't afford to change the minimum wage. Ethically, we couldn't afford not to. If we had the lowest minimum wage in the country, because people rightly believe work should pay, we often, as a result, had the lowest social assistance rates. The changes to the minimum wage to give a living wage to those who go up and do the work and raise the kids and follow the rules also allowed us to raise social assistance rates, and people should know you can't have one without the other. You know, Bobby Kennedy, the great American anti-poverty crusader, once reminded us, Mr. Speaker, that it is the gross domestic product cannot be the only measure of our happiness, that it cannot possibly measure the beauty of our poetry, the safety of our neighborhoods, the quality of our children's schools, and most importantly, the depth of our commitment to one another, the very kind of glue that holds a society together. As we remember what other countries who have far less than we do are going through, it's always worth remembering that we are blessed enough that nobody has to have less than they need to live on. We could do better than letting people live on $286 a month. No matter what our challenges, our blessings and our basic human decency meant we owed each other more. With this announcement today, we are continuing to live up to that basic tenet of what we owe our neighbors. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
La députée d'Edmundston-Saint-Basile.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Pour ce côté ici de la Chambre, Monsieur le Président, je peux vous dire qu'on accueille cette nouvelle du ministre ce matin avec beaucoup d'enthousiasme. Quand on parle de la réduction de la pauvreté, lorsqu'on regardait justement le montant d'argent que ces gens-là pouvaient recevoir, on parle ici souvent des jeunes adultes qui étaient capables de travailler, mais qui avaient peut-être manque d'éducation ou en tout cas des problèmes sociaux reliés à ça. 286 $, Monsieur le Président, à Edmundston, pour chez nous, on ne pouvait même pas nécessairement avoir une chambre. Donc, même pas pouvoir se loger. Puis quand il avait réussi à se trouver une location ou une chambre en quelque part, Monsieur le Président, oublie ça, pas d'argent pour manger, pas d'argent pour la médication et autres. En plus de ça, une autre politique du ministère que le gouvernement avait, c'est en plus de ça, tu ne peux pas nécessairement jumeler ou rester deux personnes ensemble qui étaient sur l'aide sociale pour essayer de survivre, Monsieur le Président. Donc, c'était pratiquement inhumain. Puis j'accueille certainement cette bonne nouvelle-là aujourd'hui de voir que ces gens-là vont avoir dorénavant un montant de 587, Monsieur le Président, par mois. Ceci étant dit, je sais que le travail n'est pas fini. Je sais que les organismes à travers la province travaillent très, très fort pour sensibiliser le gouvernement et les décideurs et les législateurs de continuer à faire des améliorations pour mieux aider les gens les moins nantis. Monsieur le Président, lorsqu'on regarde le taux de base régulier de 587, on peut faire le même exercice. Lorsqu'on regarde le coût d'un appartement, si on regarde dans chacune de nos circonscriptions, trouver un appartement convenable, Monsieur le Président, et pouvoir manger encore là et se payer des médicaments et autres, c'est quasiment impossible, Monsieur le Président. 587, tu n'as pas un appartement, puis tu n'as pas non plus une électricité par mois, donc tu n'as absolument pas pour vivre. So what I'm saying is that this is a really good news today, and certainly we appreciate all the work that all the community members are doing on the poverty reduction. This is a good government decision. We're supporting that a whole deal. There was a big need for that. And what I would like to add for that, and for the minister and for the government as well, is that we need to revisit as well the number for the regular social assistance number, because it's not enough. If I'm looking in our own writings, it's basically impossible to find an apartment today and to pay your electricity under $5.50, and yet you haven't eaten yet, and for clothing, for medication. It's barely impossible to do that. So, Monsieur le Président, the work is not finished yet. Le gouvernement avait promis aussi, a fait un engagement qu'il allait avoir d'autres augmentations. Ils avaient aussi s'est engagé au niveau de provinces atlantiques, au moins qu'on monte avec le taux régulier au niveau des provinces atlantiques. C'est pas le cas encore, Monsieur le Président. On n'est pas arrivé là. So, certainement, on encourage les ministres, on encourage le gouvernement d'aller d'avant pour continuer à faire des augmentations, même du taux régulier. Et certainement, nous allons suivre ce dossier-là de très, très près. There's a huge need out there, and we need to continue. We need to continue to help those people. The minister, you mentioned this morning, we have more affordable housing available. Yet, but if you look of the list, the waiting list for affordable housing, it's huge. People are still in crisis. People are still in need. So we need to continue all together, New Brunswickers, legislators, to continue to help those people. Thank you very much.